through fire and lace. I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Is to a throig arcane. You laid the path before me. You guided every step. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the glass a dead time it's so? We'll build the land, our hearts within. From dawn till dusk, I work, I strive. With your blessing, I'll survive. The loom, the forge, the sword, the grain in your name, I rise again. And chill, got bua, got tolan, got trio. In you lies strength, in you lies skill. Each victory, each talent, each trial. No task too great, no skill too small. Your gifts, dear goddess, guide us all. Into force. Without your light, we have no guide, but with your hand, our place abides. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the grass the dead time it's soar? To find it undear, our greatest deed. By the grace of the goddess we are free. We'll build the land, our hearts within. I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Blessed by her grace, forever, forever.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pack Stay and Search for Steel. I'm your host, Daniel, and of course your avatar is Empire. We are in a mixed, or actually I said the end of series, but not episodes, but end of series within those episodes of resilience. And we went over in episodes 134, 135, personal and workplace or professional resilience. And now we're going to go over MMORPGs, a near and dear topic to the heart, myself anyway. What we are going to do is we're going to go over the MMORPGs, and then we're going to sew all the series up in this line of resilience, if you will. Resilience in MMORPGs. Well, how does it play? I mean, how does resourcefulness apply in video games? Right? You might be wondering why I said resilience. Resourcefulness, resilience, pretty much the same. But it's resourcefulness I made there. That's what we do. We make errors and move on. So resourcefulness, excuse me. Resilience was one of the prior episodes, which you can catch. I know that. Anyway, in truth, gaming is fantastic background for resourcefulness. And this will apply a little bit to our conversations on the on resourcefulness in the workplace as well. And one of the things we do on this channel, if you're new here, we use ancient philosophy, modern philosophers and modern thinkers, and research to back our claims about leadership, resourcefulness, critical thinking, anything to do with improving how we think as a society and ultimately crafting a society built off of that learning. I figured a lot of people don't get taught these concepts in school, not near how we should be teaching them. It's important to me that all of us have this idea of individualism, meaning, can you go out and do whatever you want, be whatever you want, become whoever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want, within some constraints, right? Societal constraints. Do we want a society that's high trust? I think all of us can agree that we want a society that's polite and a high trust society. Meaning, let's say you leave your car keys in your car at night, doors open, meaning unlocked. Why couldn't we? Why is the mechanism of theft prevalent in our society? Well, it's because people don't feel, or at least one aspect, people don't feel like they have anywhere else to get that stuff but take it from you. And there's always going to be those people, for sure. No argument there. However, what if, I'm the big what if, and this is why the channel exists, what if we all had been taught critical thinking and resourcefulness and resilience? Check out the topics on this channel. We go back, we structure. I did a whole series on education. I'll revisit it. I'm going to do a whole series on workplace, resume, and interview. Why? Because I feel that all of us need to realign what it is to be in the modern day. But we can use ancient philosophy to catapult us into a position that is just phenomenal for everybody. And PAX Day is one of those games that not only can I play, but while I'm talking about this, but it also has a lot of resourcefulness in it. It has a lot of resilience in it. It has a lot of grind, so patience. It has a lot of social skills because it is an MMORPG. So think of it this as well. Game designers frequently create scenarios that intentionally limit you, the player, right? Nobody. I don't think anybody can really say no to that. And I'm going to build a stanchion here. I think I can do it. Let me think, because I'm going to have to do something here, and there. Yeah, I think I can do it. I don't know where that went. There we go. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just framing it out. Ooh, I need just planks. Let's see. Thought I got everything. Maybe I gotta find wooden planks and get regular planks. Here's regular planks. They're just slightly off color. They're really trying to do, the developers, this is early access, they're really trying to do stuff. But here's a limiting factor, right? Here's what we're talking about. What other limiting factors in MMORPGs do we note? Well, we have low ammo, or ammo accounting that we have to do. Maybe there's a tough boss. There's that's a limiting factor, or they try to limit the player, right? In a way, I say limit the player, but it's overall concept. It's not really limiting the player to have a tough boss. It's challenging the player. Maybe challenge equals limit. Who knows? Maybe we'll come to that conclusion today. How about a puzzle with obscure clues? It's specifically to challenge them to think creative or use their environment in clever ways. I mean, gamers, especially those who love challenging games or massive multiplayer online role-playing games, MMORPGs, live by their wits in these virtual worlds. We all do. Let's start with a general example. Let me give you a couple examples. For example, right now, I have a limited space. So what's my challenge? Well, my challenge is to make a space where I can actually craft a area where I almost had it. There we go. There we go. All right. So notice the challenge here is, well, the limitation is there's only so much you can build in so many areas. So there's restrictions or criteria that you have to meet. Oh, I thought I put the chest cell. That's a thing here. I'll need 3 of them. I don't know if they'll fit, though. And that is the back. There's the front. Because we all, as gamers, love our OCD. And I'm going to just take a moment. Here's another limitation, right? There's only certain places you can build. Let's see how bad that is. Is it hanging too much? It's not too bad. I'll allow it. Notice I can go back a little bit further with this center one. That's because the ivy's not behind it. Let's see if I can fit this here. I don't think I'll be able to. There's that post right there. It's going to be sticking out. That's a long. That's not too bad. Can I go back a little bit? Let's see what that looks like. From the top, it doesn't look great, but from the front, it's fine. I needed more storage over here anyway. All right. Let me go put that away. So what's another example? Well, many gamers can relate to if you're playing an RPG and your character is low on health, maybe out of potions, one hit away from defeat. A brute force approach just simply won't work at that point. You have to use more strategy than what you're used to. So what do? A resourceful gamer might change tactics entirely, change your strategy, perhaps luring the enemy to a trap or a hazardous part of the map, or a rarely used ability from your toolkit that suddenly becomes critical in this situation. For example, maybe a spell that slows the enemy so you can keep your distance, or use the environment's cover to hide and regenerate. These are on-fly adjustments. They mirror real-life adaptability, by the way. In fact, some research in education suggests that well-designed games teach players problem-solving skills, including resourcefulness, because players learned to try different strategies with limited resources until they succeed. Now, in the realm of MMORPGs, like think of World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online, PAX Day, EVE Online, the list goes on. Resourcefulness can appear in a few forms: strategic planning, teamwork, and creative use of game mechanics. Unlike single-player games, MMOs put you in a world with thousands of other actual people, and you often have to coordinate with a group to overcome challenges. For example, like dungeon raids or difficult dungeon raids. If you want to add difficulty, I'm just going to say that is And did I do that? Okay. I'm trying to play at the same time. I need to do this as well because I don't want to carry everything around, honestly. It's alright though. This is all my building stuff. Alright. What do I need? This is where resourcefulness comes in. Yesterday I might have built some more. Yeah, I did. Linen cloths. And I need these for creating armor. So I'll take all of those. And what I'll do is, there should be, if I remember where I put them, here's 2 linen strings. Here's a linen string, and there's a linen string. Let's see if I have any more linen strings. These are all fine linen strings. Maybe I put them somewhere else? Yep, I did. Because I couldn't fit them anywhere else, because I didn't have any. Yeah. Resourcefulness, right? Keep organized, though, if you're going to be resourceful. At any rate, let me make more of this. It's really one of my skills that I've had for a long time. So honestly, it's not a big deal to create linen, but I haven't done it in such a long time that it's I didn't need it. I didn't need it at the level, so I was remiss in creating. I'm looking for 2 tips, so if you're looking at what I'm reading and what I'm looking at very quickly, I'm looking just for 2 tips because linen cloth is just 2 tips. I want to say there's more somewhere, though. I don't think did I put it in food? Yeah, I did put it in food. I was desperate for space. That's why I felt those other things. By the way, when other characters come by, they're like, "My God, how many wrought iron steel chests do you have?" It's expensive to make them, so it makes me look a little eccentric, to say the least. That's okay, though. I don't mind being eccentric. I am trying to be the God King in PAX Day. And what do I mean by that? I mean, literally, if you take the... if you take the game and you look at how professions are doled out, then you'll understand where I'm coming from when I say when you look at my skills, right? My skills are all in the 20s, which is amazing, except for 1 or 2. I want to say it's baking. Did I get baking? Now, winemaking and brewing. I think I did baking. Yeah, so I'm all in the 20s, except for this one right here. It's so hard to get up. So hard to get up. All right. Anyway, I'll deal with that later. But I'm trying to get my armor stuff, so I needed more linen cloth. What I'll do is I'll get into my adventuring garb for Home Valley, that is, and I will go get some more wax. And there I go. Now I'm in my leather armor, because I don't need anything bigger to really go out and do what I need to do. I'll get my trusty axe. It's almost dead, but I'm going to use my axe. Where's my axe? Did I miss my... Oh, no, I put my axe in here. Yeah, there it is. It's almost dead. I'll bring something just in case, but really... Then I'll come over here. I'll start the... So, where was I on the... So, when you look at resourcefulness, it might mean coming up with an unorthodox strategy, right? To beat a boss when standard tactics fail or a group is underpowered. For example, maybe you don't have a proper healer character for a raid. That's a big limitation. So the team devises a work. All players equip some healing potions, and 2 of the damage dealers alternate using a minor healing spell. And if it's not in their main role, and it's not the usual way, but it just might keep everyone alive and around long enough to win. I'll show you some magic. Magic. He knows I'm here now, so I'll miss, and then I'll come down with 51. I don't mind missing the first swing because that 51 is so nice. Technically, on these type of outings, I would normally want the wool, but honestly, I don't need to. I need to carry more linen. Blacks. That's how you make linen. I'm going to go to gathering. There we go. As for Saint Hugbarat's minor favor, I like saying I pray to the goddess, but it is, I am praying to the Saint Hugbarat's. And you'll see a little green extra down there, and I'm, because of blessing, I'm able to gather more. It's like a little favor that the gods, saints, if you will, they provide to you. These guys used to have an amazing big plot. They were a venturing clan, and you could, as a clan, you can put your plots right next to each other, and it's just absolutely huge. But I guess 2 decided to go somewhere else. That group decided not to stick around. Very odd. Anyway, it opened up some more field for me. I can't use it because you are only allowed 4 plots. That's part of your resourcefulness, right? Now we're going to talk about Pax Day. So in online gaming communities, but you'll often hear about the clutch moments. That's where all the stories come from, right? If you ever had a friend, man, I was playing this game and I came in, did this and this and this, and right before we got killed, I did this because we don't normally do it, and they explain the situation. But maybe when someone improvises a last second to save the day, right? That's usually when you hear about them, like using a rarely used item or skill in their inventory in a clever way. A real-world gaming story that exemplifies creative resourcefulness is a World of Warcraft player known as Doubleagent. Doubleagent did something in the game designers probably never anticipated. He reached the maximum level, or the level cap, without choosing a faction or fighting in a single enemy. In WoW, World of Warcraft, right? After a certain point, players are supposed to pick a side, either the Alliance or the Horde, right? I think everybody's pretty familiar with World of Warcraft. It's been around for a while. And then they venture out into the world, which inevitably involves combat, of course. But Doubleagent, what did he do? He chose to remain neutral. A neutral Pandaren, I think they're called in World of Warcraft. Pandaren. A panda-like race, right? On the starter island, where no hostile combat is required. How did he level up with no battles? That's the question du jour on the table, right? Well, by doing nothing but picking herbs, mining ores for hours upon hours, in game terms. He gained experience points solely through gathering professions. It was incredibly slow, a grinding process. Talk about patience and persistence. But it was technically possible, and he proved it. He essentially said, I'll play by my own rules, using the limited tools I have, gathering skills, to achieve something extraordinary. The game limited him with no combat, no leaving the island, right? Because that was the limitation. Yet he turned those limits into a unique sort of achievement. That impressed the community. PC Gamer reported on this pacifist Pandarian monk who reached the new level cap by picking millions of flowers and without ever leaving the starter zone. It's a quirky example, but it shows even in a game, in a game structure, someone with a resourceful mindset, like finding an alternative path toward leveling, can lead to success against the odds. Pretty cool, right? That's a great example, by the way. I found that. I was like, yeah, that's the perfect example. It's absolutely insane that he did that. Anyway. In competitive gaming or esports, resourcefulness is often the edge that separates the winners from the losers, right? Trying to pick at the same time, I'm trying to read my notes on the side. Sometimes I should just run a podcast like normal people. No, darn it, I want entertainment at the same time. I want to read my notes. I'm very prepared. I just need to look on another screen to see my notes, which is the limitation I set on myself to try to play the game and hopefully have you guys get more introduced to the world of PAX Day. It is a great looking game though, so if you do get an opportunity, it's well worth the cost. And I think after it launches, they are being very hush hush, but it might be a monthly fee like EVE Online. So take care if you do fall in love with this game. You're gonna be in a pickle, meaning you're gonna have to decide whether the cost of a month-to-month subscription is good. The game is good enough for that, or entertaining enough. And I'll tell you, the MMORPG alone in this game, they set the world. I don't think I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I didn't think so. I took some damage, but I don't care. Anyway. So, think of a strategy game like StarCraft, right? Players have limited resources to build units and a fixed tech tree of options, right? The more resourceful the player, might find an unusual timing or unit composition that an opponent isn't prepared for, like using a typically underused unit in large numbers to surprise the enemy, who didn't build a defense for that. This is analogous to businesses finding a niche strategy to outmaneuver a bigger competitor. In fact, there's a common term in gaming, meta breaking. The meta is the dominant, well-known best strategy. A meta breaking player finds a new strategy that counters the dominant one, often catching everybody off guard for the first couple hours. Then everybody knows it. A product of creative thinking and the willingness to experiment with limited tools in the game in new ways. Gaming also often limits resources, like I said earlier, like ammo, health packs, or time. And it's basically as a way to force the players into a pressure cooker problem-solving situation, right? Again, like wound up. I'm gonna fight you at my house. If anybody would like to see it, have a tour of my house, I'll be happy to show that. It is a really cool house. It's the best house. Okay. So consider a survival game scenario. Your character might only have a few bullets left, but there are more enemies than bullets. This is where players get crafty. Maybe you shoot a hanging explosive barrel with one bullet and takes out multiple foes at once. Using the environment as a force multiplier, or set your traps. Use stealth to avoid fights altogether. And these are classic improvise, adapt, overcome moments. And in fact, the unofficial motto, improvise, adapt, overcome, is popularized by the U.S. Marines and often quoted in adventure contexts. And it could easily be the tagline for many video games. Let's not forget, tabletop gaming and role-playing games, like Dungeons and Dragons, where resourcefulness is basically the essence of play. In D&D, players often come up with wild, creative solutions, more often than not, that annoy the DM. Anyway, moving on. In D&D, players often come up with these absolutely, that, like I said, that annoyed the dungeon master because he never saw them coming. He didn't, or she didn't consider these, right? Well, for example, if you're trapped in a canyon and by a band of goblins, a resourceful D&D party might decide to fake an avalanche by rolling rocks and using the illusion spell for sound, scaring the goblins into fleeing, all without direct combat. The game provides tools, spells, items, the environment described by the DM. But how the players use them is up to their imagination. The most memorable D&D sessions are often when players say, "Can I try something crazy?" That question embodies resourcefulness. Trying something crazy, but clever, because straightforward methods just won't cut it. Bringing it back to real life. Gaming scenarios like these highlight a critical lesson. Sometimes the key to resourcefulness is reframing the problem. In a game, if you can't win by conventional means, you look for the win condition from another angle. Wow, I got through that pretty fast. Was not expecting that. Let's see if I can pull any more out. Not much. Got 2 out of it though. That back in. Take that back out. I will not do the hokey pokey, and I will not shake it all about. Anyway, at any rate, let's see if I have any more room here. I have room for 2. I'll do that. How about in here? Not the mace. No, I'll put them in here. Because this is all the materials I need to make the potion. Alright, let's go get some more. What do you say? So, in life, the same is true, right? If a direct solution is impossible, maybe you'll solve a different problem that in turn solves the original issue. I just wasn't in range. I'll walk up to him. Now you only get 15 seconds, by the way. Honestly, that's very inefficient. If I want to bring up my axe level, you have to. It's per hit, so I should be hitting the board as much as possible. Honestly, which I can hit him twice for a decent amount of damage, and then to 51 will finish them off, so I'll get 3 swings out of it. Anyway, this is the things I think about as I'm playing games. Because I want to level up quickly, right? We all do. We want to be as efficient and resourceful as possible. I'm going to keep it with this theme of this episode if it kills me. Alright, where are we? Let's go this way. This guy's a master builder. It's absolutely insane what he did with that place. Anyway. Gather some of these. I'd go up there, but I really can't deal with the falls. I can do it. I really can. I don't need to prove to you guys. I can do it. Anyway. So here's a for instance. If you can't afford a certain tool to complete a project, maybe you can find a way to do the project that doesn't require the tool at all. In other words, change the game you're playing. Gamers do this instinctively. If you can't beat the boss in a head-on fight, find a way to cheese it. And then for you, if anybody doesn't know, that's gaming terms. So if I have to explain it, I'll explain it. It's game slang for using an unintended trick or strategy to win. You cheese it. Anyway, just for those who want to do the life lessons without the gaming stuff, you'll learn gaming here. The gaming channel. Now, it's a philosophy channel, technically. We just do a lot of gaming talk. Because, honestly, and I'll say this several times throughout every episode, if just to drum it into people. If you play games as a leader in a Fortune 500 company, I'd like to hear about your gaming experience. I want to hear those tough times, how you overcome something. And if you're playing an MMORPG, I want to know how you are dealing with total strangers. Because what happens at work? You're dealing with total strangers. And you're getting things accomplished in time periods, time limitations. So honestly, in the interviews, I don't mind throwing some game terms out there. Or not the terms themselves, because, there's slang that some people might not understand. They might be good gamers, they just, didn't pick up on the slang, which is fine. You don't have to be, you don't have to pick up on the slang to be a resourceful gamer. So, but I'll ask those questions. Like, hey, what game do you play? And from the games they play, it lets me know, they're a thinker outside of work. Or it doesn't mean that entirely, right? I'll say, ooh, or they just need to relax. They use their brain so much at work that they just need to turn it off. And that's acceptable as well. But it gives me an idea, and I can ask follow-up questions and clarifying questions. All these questions are good. MMORPGs in general are good. Like, tell me a time where you led something. Insert something here. Like EVE Online. If somebody's played on EVE Online, I've been playing for like 10 years. And if they're going for a supply chain position, oh yeah, you bet your sweet butt I'm going to tell them, how do you get supplies from X to Z, right? What's your strategy going through low sec? How do you keep your supply lines up from your planetary manufacturing to build and manufacture through enemy territory or through low sec territory or through null sec territory? There's all kinds of questions I can come up with, and how resourceful they are is an indication of how resourceful they might be at work. So let's see. I went totally off script. So real world, all this to say, real world cheesing, right? Might be something like negotiating a barter when you lack money. Right? You're not cheating. You're reframing it. right? So let's say you sidestep the need for money by meeting the goal, obtaining the service or product through another avenue. It's not cheating. I'm going to say that like left and right. It's clever negotiation of constraints. It's also worth noting that resourcefulness is fun in games. It provides a sense of accomplishment and pride. And that's true in life as well. Problem solving unconventionally often brings a special satisfaction. Really? I'm already cool. Oh, that's why. Rocks. I get a rock. This is not the best place to put a house because you're in the center of town. You're in the center of the... Well, it depends. How much are you going to roleplay? MMORPG it? To me, this is way too far. I'm looking at blacksmithing, so I went more to the outskirts of the home valley, so I can not run as far to get my stuff. A lot of the building designs in here are very resourceful. They're built on constraints, right? But when you look at some of the building, they do such a great job at removing those constraints. Like at first, you won't be able to craft a circle of anything when you're building your house. But through resourcefulness, you can figure out how to make it look like a circle. Again, attaining the goal, just being crafty at it. I'll make my way through here. So, where did I leave off? It provides a sense of accomplishment and pride. Let me say that again because it's a great point to really. I don't want to say pound into anybody, but it's a really great point to reassure people, right? That these are good things. So solving a problem unconventionally often brings a special satisfaction. Meaning, how many times have you or someone you know proudly said, "I can't believe that worked," and they grin, right? Maybe after jerry-rigging something successfully, that delight is pretty universal. Sun's starting to set. And whether you're just, if you just beat a level or by using that weird trick, or you fixed the car's muffler with a soup can. Lost control. Because this menu's open. That's why I lost control. Yeah, my lights are working. Because it's getting oh, you need a place to put stuff before you make stuff. Okay. So the fun aspect should not be overlooked, right? Learning to be resourceful can actually become a game in itself. Some people may actively enjoy. We talked about the show MacGyvering solutions as a hobby, for instance. The whole life hack internet culture is about sharing clever tricks to solve everyday problems. Turns out being resourceful isn't just effective, it can also be entertaining and rewarding. So in the gaming universe, from MMOs to single-player epics, resourcefulness separates novices from masters. It's what makes the difference between being stuck on a level and finding a way forward. With an aha moment, And as we've seen, these virtual problem-solving skills often mirror real ones. It's not far-fetched to say that playing cooperative games or challenging puzzles can actually train your brain to be more resourceful outside of games, I should say, by teaching you to stay calm under pressure, analyze what you have available, and use it in novel ways, turning limits into launchpads. Key takeaways, right? This is what we're trying to accomplish. So here are the key takeaways from this series. So we've journeyed through personal anecdotes, the historical cases, the workplace innovations, and even fantasy game scenarios, all orbiting around the same sun: resourcefulness. By now, clear patterns should emerge, no matter the context. A few common themes and strategies underpin resourceful behavior. Let's distill some of the key takeaways or principles that anyone, yes, including you listening right now, anyone can apply in your own challenges. 1. Reframe the problem. When faced with a daunting obstacle, try to see it from a different angle. Ask yourself, what is this situation really require? Can I achieve that outcome in an unconventional way? Often, by redefining the goal or constraints, new solutions appear. Remember that Apollo 13, the Apollo 13 example I had made? Let me craft one more of these. There we go. And I'll put these down here. Oh, no, go the other way. There we go. Wow. That's like perfectly. This chest will go away. I don't like it here. It ruins the aesthetics. I'm all about aesthetics. I was barely allowing myself this little pleasure because I have the house on this side. Because the house is awesome. Here, let me go through the house real quick. I'm not going to show everybody everything, but it's worth noting because there's a lot of work done to this house. And this is where I hold parties. I haven't finished it yet, so I gotta make chairs and I gotta make tables. My balcony. This is my personal level. This is where the master bedroom is. And I'll walk through it. Here's my bed. They only have 3 beds. That's the best bed in the game. Then you get out here and hopefully that group just decides to up and leave. They haven't been there forever. I don't even know if they've been there. Anyway, so let me take a sip of my Zevia, non-sponsored spot, by the way, Zevia, but it's a great 0 calorie, 0 sugar, 0 caffeine soda, Zevia. It's called Zevia. It's very good. All right, give me a moment. Okay, so Apollo 13's goal wasn't to fix the filter. It's impossible in the usual way. It was to make something work to scrub CO2. Once reframed, the solution space broadened. 2. Inventory your resources and resourcefulness. Take stock of what you do have, the tangible and intangible. This includes physical materials, knowledge or skills, people who can help, and time. Sometimes making a literal list of the available tools and options can spur ideas. We might call that brainstorming. Don't forget less obvious assets, your own creativity, past experiences, and the goodwill of others. A resourceful mindset isn't always asking, how can I use what I have in a new way, as opposed to fixating on what is missing, right? So you want to ask, how can I use what I have in a new way? Don't fixate on what's missing. 3, embrace constraints as creativity fuel. Rather than seeing constraints as roadblocks, view them as a puzzle or a challenge. The psychological shift, seeing a constraint as motivating rather than defeating. That's what you want to do. It can boost creativity. And set a little game, right? Given this situation, what are the most clever ways I have to solve it? History has shown that many innovators are born from constraint. As one innovation expert put it, scarcity forces you to be inventive. So when you're short on something, tell yourself it's an opportunity to think differently, not a dead end. 4, be flexible and adapt. Rigid plans often crumble when conditions change. Resourcefulness means pivoting quickly. In practical terms, have a plan B, have a plan C, but more important, be mentally ready to drop your prior assumptions and and adapt to the new information. Like water flowing around an obstacle, find a way forward around the problem if you can't go through it. Bruce Lee's famous advice applies here. Be like water, shapeless, adaptable, and thus unstoppable in finding a path. 5, use the MacGyver method. Repurpose and improvise. Practice looking at objects or processes and imagine alternate uses. That shoelace in your backpack? In a pinch, it's a rope or a fan belt. The spreadsheet template at work is meant for budgeting, or maybe you can tweak it to track project tasks. The skill, seeing not what something is, but what it could be, is the heart of ingenuity. Here's a fun exercise. Challenge yourself occasionally to fix or create something using only a limited set of tools. It builds your improvisation muscles. Next time you encounter a problem, you'll naturally think, what do I have on hand that can solve this? Just like MacGyver. 6, cultivate a positive can-do attitude. Let me walk through here. Give you guys a different, that bedroom. It's freaking awesome. Good luck. That guy is amazing. Look at his house. It's freaking huge. That took him a while to build. It's my front. I always think this is my front. The other part's not my front. It's my back. Anyway. So, cultivating a positive can-do attitude, it might sound motivational, but it's grounded in reality. Attitude often dictates outcome in problem solving. A defeatist, nothing can be done mindset shuts down the creative process prematurely. In contrast, an optimistic approach, believing, some solution exists, keeps you searching until you find one. It's the resilience to say, all right, plan A failed, time to try plan B or plan C, if it gets that far. Remember, every failure is just discovering a way that doesn't work, which is progress toward finding one that does work. Stay curious and tenacious. Resourcefulness is as much about mental resilience as it is about creativity. That's the elevator. That's the express elevator. Seven, leverage your network and knowledge. As we discussed, resourcefulness isn't always about solo venture. Know when to ask for help or input. There's no shame in that. In fact, it's smart. Someone out there might have solved a similar problem or might have a piece of knowledge that completes your puzzle. This could mean reaching out to your colleagues, doing quick research online. Like, the internet is an incredible resource itself, right? Chances are you're not the first person to face the problem. Or recalling an old trick. Your grandparent might taught you something that is applicable to the situation. Crowdsourcing ideas or borrowing brilliance is part of being resourceful. The goal is to solve the problem, not to hog the credit for its originality. Many great resourceful solutions are actually remixes of others' ideas applied in a new context. We should really do a show about, are there any new ideas? I mean, truly new ideas. Anyway. So 8, practice, practice, practice. Like any skill, you get better at being resourceful by practicing it. Put yourself occasionally in situations that require a bit of ingenuity. It could be as simple as taking a different route home without a GPS, or cooking a meal with 5 random ingredients. These low-stake exercises train your brain to handle the real deal when stakes are higher. Oh, by the way, when I say these things, you don't want to be completely, like, for example, don't take me literal with the five random ingredients. How about 5 random ingredients you have at home, and then categorize them in a protein, a carbohydrate, starch, or something to that effect? Because, or, have the categories ready, but if there's not any category for, like, starches, you don't have any starches. Then that's your constraint, right? But the point is, you don't want an all-carb meal. It's not resourceful. You need to go to the store, man. Anyway. Some companies even run simulations or war games to train teams in resourcefulness. An example here might be simulate a server outage and see how the team restores service with limited tools. You can simulate on a personal level too. What if I had to live on half my income for a month? How would I manage it? The ideas you generate might not only prepare you for a crisis, they could reveal efficiencies and innovations for normal times, when each of these points reflects what we've seen in our societies today, right? So 8 points. From William Kamwamba, who certainly reframed problems and used knowledge to and scrap, guided by a can-do spirit, to NASA. Teamwork, adaptation, and positive determination. To the gamer, Doubleagent, radically rethinking the objective to find a non-combat path. The habits of resourcefulness repeat. By cultivating these habits, we effectively turn ourselves into launchpads, ready to propel over obstacles. And those obstacles once might have been, or seeming, limiting to you. So what's our conclusion today for all the episodes? I'm trying to kind of give you a nice look at the nightlife of PAX Day. At the same time, I'm looking at my notes because this is so important to really hammer home. So whether life, work, or play, whatever arena you're in, will inevitably hand you a fair share of limits, setbacks, and surprises. We can't always control them. But what we can control is our response. Resourcefulness is that response, is a response. Let's see if he's around. Alright, he didn't see me. It's the secret sauce that turns limit into a launchpad, a roadblock into a ramp. So as I wrap up this episode, let's reflect on some of the wisdom shared. So there is wisdom from Marcus Aurelius. He reminded us that the impediment to action can advance action. In other words, the obstacle becomes the way forward. Every challenge is an opportunity in disguise if we choose to see it in that way. The age-old proverb that taught us that necessity births invention, and we saw it born out in stories from the Great Depression kitchens to Malawalan windmills to NASA's life-saving hack in space millions of miles away, or hundreds of thousands of miles away. Modern innovators like those practicing Jugaad show that doing more with less isn't just possible. It can outperform doing more with more, especially when it comes to flexibility and speed. Even in our entertainment, in epic games and tales, we idolize the clever hero who uses brain over brawn, the underdog who outsmarts the strong opponent. These narratives resonate because deep down, we admire the resourcefulness. It gives us hope that we too can overcome these giants in our path through ingenuity. Remember the story of David and Goliath from the Bible? A young shepherd boy defeats a giant warrior, not with matching strength, but with a simple sling and a clever strategy. It's perhaps one of the oldest examples of resourcefulness, celebrating in culture and using seemingly insignificant resource. A pebble and a sling with skill to bring down, by all logic, was something impossible to defeat. So the tale endures because it symbolizes that the right approach, the little guy can win, right? The quote right approach is often nothing but more than resourcefulness writ large. As you go back to your daily life after listening to this episode, I encourage you, try a resourceful approach to one problem you're facing. It could be something small. It doesn't have to be huge, like reorganizing a cluttered space with maybe makeshift dividers instead of buying new shelves. Or something bigger, like tackling a career challenge by learning a new skill through free online resources rather than expensive schooling. Trust that you have more resources than you think. They might just be hidden in plain sight, like that pile of junk Edison talked about, waiting for your imagination to transform it. Cultivating resourcefulness is also about trusting yourself. It's about gaining confidence that you can figure things out. It doesn't mean you'll never fail. Failure is part of the journey, and we are to celebrate failure on this channel. You might try 9 ideas that just don't work before the 10th does, and that's perfectly okay. But each attempt sharpens your wits. Over time, you'll start approaching challenges with a sort of fearless creativity. Go ahead, throw a wrench in my plans. I'll turn it into a hammer and then build something anyway. That attitude is gold. It will get you through your personal life. It'll get you through your professional life, and of course, get you through your MMORPG life. It makes you resilient and proactive, by the way. It's not a coincidence that many successful entrepreneurs, leaders, and creators share stories of early constraints they overcame. It was those very experiences that trained them to think differently and give them the confidence to tackle bigger problems. I'll leave you with a closing thought. Will I leave you? Yes, I will, because we're doing these in an hour. By the way, I'll sew it up here. I'll sew it. From a man who knew a thing or two about solving tough problems, Albert Einstein, quote, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." In a way, that's a call to be resourceful, to change our thinking, right? To approach problems in a fresh, innovative way, innovative way that when the old methods fail. New thinking often means new use of resources, new combinations, new perspectives. That's resourcefulness at its core. Turning limits into launchpads isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a powerful mindset. It means every limit is seen as a potential energy source. Like how a bent bow stores energy before propelling an arrow. The tension of constraint can launch you further if you harness it. So next time you feel limited, remember, inside that word limited is lit, which means spark. With resourcefulness, you can light that spark into a flame of creativity and progress. So, look at where I ended up. I didn't even know. I'm on my porch. I was going to make this into a nice dining area. But that's resourcefulness in a nutshell. I'm glad you guys came on this journey. We are going to definitely continue. I don't know about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I might have a meeting. So yes, even I have the work during the day. Yeah, YouTube's not that good to me. Not good to me at all yet. Once I get those millions of subscribers and we have these conversations, we'll talk more. Cool. All right. So with that, I think I'm gonna leave you. Well, until tomorrow. I hope tomorrow. Let me see. What do I have planned for tomorrow? Let me look real quick. That's not what it is. I have planned. Episode 137. There it is. I'll probably do this in about 3 episodes, but it's going to be the culture of innovation. Why some people and societies are more resourceful than others. So kind of putting our 3 episodes today into practice. But until then, oh, and let me know what you want to see, what you want me to go over. I'm pretty knowledgeable in this area, and I'm pretty resourceful as well. I want to just hammer that point home. We're all resourceful. Every one of us can do episodes like this. I learned OBS and how to manipulate the innards for live stream, and kind of tweaked it over time. I failed a couple times, and then I came back and didn't fail as much. But everything I think is okay. Let me know on the audio, by the way. I still don't think it's where it should be, but I'll leave that to you and give me some feedback. I'm on X. I'm on LinkedIn. I have a lot of articles on LinkedIn. Go ahead and go to LinkedIn. There's plenty of leadership articles. I'm really a leadership kind of guy. And the reason I do these podcasts is to craft people that not only can I lead, that can lead as well. All of us are born leaders. Resilience and resourcefulness will really capture you as the person you really are and really can be the best version of yourself. Well, until next time, hopefully tomorrow. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and never let a no from reality be the final answer. After all, we've learned today there's almost always a workaround waiting to be discovered. And who knows? Maybe the obstacle in your way right now is actually pointing you into a new path, the one that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. Well, happy problem solving, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
With every step, a lesson learned. From fire's heat to the fields I've turned. The blade and bow, the forge and flame. I sharpen my skills, I play the game. Each day brings a challenge I must face. I train my hands with careful grace. From alchemy's art to the hunter's way, I'll find the strength to seize the day. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. From the herbs I find to the iron I mold, each lesson learned is a story told. The stars above, they guide my hand. As I hone my craft, I take my stand. In the quiet woods, in the mountains chill, I push myself, I shape my will. With each new tool and every lore, I'm stronger now than I was before. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. The road is long, but I won't turn back. The lessons I learned keep me on track. With each new skill, the stronger I grow. In the face of the storm, I let my courage show. I've tasted defeat, I felt the sting, but I rise again with each new spring. For knowledge is power, and wisdom the key. I'm forging my path, I'm breaking free. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight.